go. Sit well. Exciting thing. Thank you. Okay. So sit on the edge of your block, lean forward, take your buttock bones out. Feel like you're actually like widening them. And you may have one that you sit on more, or one that feels like it's more tucked under. So instead of having an equilateral triangle, it'll be a little off. And if you know what side that is, you can just kind of pay attention to it. Really feel like you're in the middle of both, like you're just on the precipice of your sitting bones, and they act like a kickstand to keep you from rolling back and the whole front collapses. So press your thighs down and wiggle your waist long. Take your hands to your ribs, frame your rib cage and lift it up. Literally get more space between all the organs in the abdominal cavity. Just got a big breath in the lateral plane, right? That side to side breath. And then take your thumbs in your armpit chest, and from that lifting of the fingertips, if you were to look from the side, it would be a cricket smile. So you want to lift the front of the armpits a little bit more, and you might notice that it draws the shoulder blades more into the back on the bottom surface. And then think that the shoulder blades go wide, because you're opening up the back window of the heart, but also the collarbones go wide. That's it. And now take your arms up, and it's effortless. You shouldn't feel like you're lifting your arms from the tops of your shoulders. It's everything you've done already. Press your feet down. Let your thighs drop. Wiggle the waist long. Turn the armpits forward and put your head on top of that spit. It should find it effortlessly. Make cups with your hands. Inhale, in and down and wide. And begin around a Kapalabhati. Good. So know which hand is a better cup. Know which one starts to spill the liquid forward or starts to bend the elbow. Take your brain there and reframe it. Because this is the nature of everything organic, that it's going to fall apart, and it's your job to frame it up. You don't want the body to fall apart while you still have a mind. And you don't want to lose your mind while you still have a body. And that's really the goal of yoga. Hello, Katie Plum. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale all the breath out. Interlace your thumbs. Hold empty, 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 empty. Go down with your feet. Go up with your hands. Inhale 3 sips through the mouth. 3 more sips. Spin the armpits forward. Good, chin parallel to the ground so you know your head is on that spit. And 1 more sniff through the nose. Hold it full. Hold it full. Hold it full. Seal at the bottom. And then without opening the mouth, exhale through the nose. Let your arms float down like you're making a big snow angel. And then just roll the shoulders up and back and down. So it's a circular joint. Where in that circle do you not have access? A couple more times. Roll them the other way. Roll them back and up and forward. That's it. And now make a frame. Take your right hand to your left elbow. Take your left hand to your right elbow. So you're having a frame. It's framing right now your chest from collarbone to collarbone, elbow to elbow. Press your feet down and now flip the frame so you frame up your face. That's it. And then notice that when you did that, did you drop your head because you can't lift enough? That is an elevation of the shoulder blades. So being able to lift the elbows up, you get a bigger frame, spin your armpits so you open the frame on the bottom. And then just do it and keep doing it. So the more that you move your shoulders into flexion, so they're up overhead, and then think that the armpit opens in 2 directions. So the next time the arms are up, keep them up. Your hands are the boundary, widen the elbows into them. Spin the armpits forward, so they're the mitt that's going to catch the ball coming at them. And if you're shut down a little bit because you don't have that degree in that circle of the shoulder, the more you do it, the more you'll be able to do it. Sound good? And then release the arms down. Let's come into a table. Just doing that little bit of the rolling the shoulders and framing up should prepare the shoulders for you to weight bear on. Now remember, the arms is a double helix in order to be weight bearing, and that'll put you in the middle of your hands. So spin the fingers in, and where they touch will give you the distance of where your wrist should be. So where the middle fingers meet It's the same if you look from you can see where the shoulders are right over the wrists and the frame is even. And then spin your hands forward without widening them, because that would not be even weight bearing on the hands. Now shift into the knuckles of the hand, but also stick your butt out. So your hips are over your knees. You have a right angle from the heel to the knee to the butt. Your shoulders are over. You can actually lift the heels of your hands. It's almost like putting your foot in a high heel shoe. This is the plug that you want to access, right? Every time we're in the hands, we're in the lungs. Just like the balls of the feet are the lungs, well, the hands are actually extensions of the lungs. So pull the collarbones apart and move your chest forward. The forearms spin information in to give you into the thumb side of the hand, the index finger knuckle, but the armpits spin in to give you access to the outer hand. Play the four corners and lift the arches of the center of the palm, the Hasta Bandha. Lift it up. Draw energy up the center of the bones to the center of the armpit. So nice. And then plug your feet in again. You should be able to lift your knees up off the floor without overloading your back. So pretty, tiger. And then just wave it from the plug in the socket, from the hands and the feet. You wave your spine, cat and cow. Start at the bottom. Tailbone, pubic bone. You can go very slow. Feel the arching of the back, the spreading of the shoulder blades, the release of the neck, and then start it at the bottom again to come into the extension. It's so nice to get that movement of the spine. Again, if you only have time for like 3 things in yoga every day, cat and cow is one of them. A lunge is one of them. So nice. Circle back and forth. Eventually, your whole goal, the whole game, is to really heat yourself up. So the Wim Hof, those breathing exercises are very popular right now. And then you usually see them sitting in a cold bath or sitting in snow. Snow's melted around them because they're lighting their own fire from within. They can withstand the cold without. And it's really knowing which tool to use to have your best personal game, your personal nature. So nice. All right, look forward, everybody. One of my children is here. It is Veterans Day. Hi, love. Bring your left knee to the middle. Bring your right knee around. Separate your feet. Okay, plug yourself in again. So we're weaving the legs together. You should feel more broad across your sacrum. Spin around to the right and go all the way around yourself. If you feel like your knees are heavy, then plug your feet in more. If your knees are heavy, you're going to feel the pressure, the squeeze in your lower back. The more you take your feet apart, the wider you'll feel across your back, and the more engaged you'll be in the outer hips. Good. And then spin the other way. So again, you're really circling around both hip joints, but you can think that you're drawing a circle with your tailbone. So spin it around, spin it around, spin it around. Yes. Plug your feet in again. Look forward. Good. And then come up on the fingertips. Make your back leg the front leg. Good. Plug your feet in. And this time, if you'd like, you can flip your hands. So you're going all the way around all the joints. Make sure you're not hyperextending. So it's hard to feel the thumb side of the hand here because most of us kind of cave in the middle. So really think you're pulling your elbows apart to find the outer hands, which are the thumb side of the hands. And now spin it to the left. And make sure you didn't shorten your distance from your hips to your shoulders or from your hands to your knees. So spin around to the left, plug your feet in more. That's it, Nadia. Keep finding that right thumb. Oh, so nice. Yeah, Katie's already spinning around her head, but make sure you're spinning around the hips. Make sure you start at the bottom so the head receives the twist. It's not doing it. Go around the other way now. Spin to the right. How easy can you just stop and change directions? For some of us, so in Ayurveda, people that are predominantly kapha would have a hard time pivoting. Kapha is the structure. It's the glue that holds us together. So if people can't pivot and change directions, usually kapha is like holding them in their place. And that's why when that dosha is imbalanced, it tends to be dull or heavy or lethargic. All right, fun fact. Take your fingers forward. Now take your right leg and make it the front again. Doug wants to stand up on his legs. Make your left leg the front leg. So you're just making a braid. Walk your hands forward. Take your right leg and bring it around. And then last time, left leg and bring it around. All right, now let's go back. Left leg, back leg. Get the knee in the back of the knee. That's the bolt of stability. Right leg back. Walk your hands back under your shoulders and then go back a couple more times. Left leg and right leg. And do you feel that you're only doing this from one place, or do you feel like it's a full body effort? Because when you lift this leg, it should be the belly working. So you can go really slow. You can think that you're like a ballerina, like you're getting the full range of motion in that hip joint. So you're literally doing circumduction with each hip when you bring that leg back. And if you're only feeling it in your back, you need to recruit more of yourself. Good, uncross the legs. From all that work, you should really feel that the whole engagement across the pelvis, the side, the back, the front, the core, lift up into a dog pose. Plug your feet and lift your heels up. From the lifting of your heels, let your buttock bones lift up, so you're really opening the backs of your legs. And then move your hips from side to side. So you should feel a stretch on one side of the waist, even maybe up in the ribs. Some of you may be up in your armpits, depending on how much you swivel your hips from side to side and where your habit and your propensity of holding is. Come back to the middle. Come forward to plank pose and find the right angle where the heels are over the balls of the feet, where the shoulders are over the wrists, where everything is working. Spin your groins up and move your chest forward. And now come up and back. Find that first fold. So you don't want to fold in your back, you want to fold at your hip joints. So nice. All right, bring your right leg in front of your left to the left side of your mat. Take your left leg, which is your back leg, to the right side of your mat. And think that you're crossing your legs up at the thighs. Come forward to plank pose, and it should feel like your legs are so buoyant. Like you're really using your lower body, and that should free up your upper body. Good. Don't let your hips will want to kind of drop to the right. Really feel like you're lifting your right outer hip up to plug in your right big toe. And then go back to a dog pose. And you make your left leg the front leg, so just bring it around. Spin your groins back to get into the whole ball of the foot. Come forward to plank pose. Plug your feet in. Don't hyperextend your elbows. I keep having to remind myself on the left. Move your chest forward. Weight is everywhere. Lift your left outer hip up. Plug in the left big toe. And then go back to a dog pose. All right, from here, bring your right foot forward. And so I'm in a lunge, but I'm cross-referencing. So my right foot is in the middle. My left foot is on the right side. So nice. And then your chest is on your thighs, so you should be able to lift your hands up the floor, off the floor. Now, orient yourself to the middle. Lower the left knee down, right where it is. Plug in the ball of the left foot. You're going to be feeling this in the front of the quad and the front of the hip. And then move forward. Michaela, bring your right foot forward more. Yeah. Oh, it feels so good. Now come on up. Stay in the middle. Plug in the left foot that's on the right side. Move your left butt around to the left, like it's making a big circle. So you're really holding the middle, and from there the shoulders come over the hips, and then maybe you can add the lift of the arms. You should be feeling any arm variation you want to do. You can interlace your thumbs, hold opposite elbows. Eventually you can take your head back in your hand, lift your elbows up. But plug in that back foot to move forward. Good. Take your hands down. So when you're here more on that tightrope or cross-referencing, it's very easy to feel like your pelvis is kind of moving to the left. Your job is to plug in your back foot and make it bigger. So really feel like you have a big skirt and you're sweeping it around. All right, the right foot's gonna come to the left side. It's gonna stay in the front. Make your left leg the front leg. Which way feels totally weird? Maybe they both feel totally weird. Come forward to plank pose here. Plug in your feet. You should this really gives you your outer hips. This should give you your lower body. So it should feel easier on your upper body. Then come back to a dog pose. Spin the groins back, lift both buttock bones up, and then bring your right foot forward. Wait, it should be left foot forward. It should be left foot forward. I thought that sounded weird. Bring your left foot forward. I was like, we just did this. Lift the right thigh up till your hips are level with your shoulders. Chest is on the thigh. You should be able to take your hands up off the floor. Nice, man. Now bring your right knee down. When you bring your right knee down, don't let your right foot come forward, right? Like then you're not holding the measure. So you can see that my right heel is over the ball of the feet. I just lower the knee down. Now I'm opening the front of the thigh and the hip. If I let the heel come forward, I'm not actually doing what I want the pose to do. And just come on up. One side, you'll be very off center. Keep bringing that right butt around to the left. So good, Katie. Bring your shoulders up and back. And then again, come forward. You can see that I'm not quite in the right place. I've got to bring my hips further forward. I got to go further up. So when you bring your hips further forward, don't let it collapse in the back body. Draw that belly back and up. Plug in the back foot more. Yes! So good. Elbows up and back if you're holding. There you go. And then take yourself down. Lift your back knee up off the floor. Plug in your foot. Feel like that back leg is like so strong that your spine lengthens in the opposite direction. And then come back, left leg in front. And then just bring your right leg in front. And then weave your left leg in front. And then bring your right leg in front. And then left leg in front. Come forward to plank pose again. Okay. Actually, just bring your knees down for a moment. So we're just gonna do really fun core work here. So I'll just show you what it looks like. We've done this before, but I just got inspired. So I'm in a dog pose and my left leg is in front. I'm gonna come forward to plank. My left leg is the holding leg. My right leg is gonna go out and touch and then weave in front to a dog. That's your rest. Come forward. The right leg is the holding leg. The left leg comes out. It taps. It goes in front. You see nothing else changed. And I go back to a dog and I open it up this way. Come forward to plank. Come join me anytime. Right leg comes out. Left leg is holding. Use your belly. Look forward. The right leg weaves in front. Go back to a dog pose. Open the armpits. Lift your buttock bones up. Come forward to plank. Okay. Right leg holds. Left leg comes out to the side. So you're working. You have a whole chance to work the outer hips here when you take that leg out. Tap it down. Weave it in front. Come back. Let both legs take the load. Come forward to plank. Left leg holds. Right leg goes out. Engage the outer seat. Side seat. Come back and go back. Let's do that on each side one more time. Come forward. You should feel really heating up right now. This whole practice today is to really build the heat, to learn to heat yourself up. Come forward to plank. Right leg comes out. Tap down. Weave. And come back. So good. And then come down. So your right knee is in front. Get the knee in the knee, right? Left kneecap in the back of the right knee. Press both feet down. Your feet should be even side to side. And then, because Doug wanted to, come forward with your hip. So working all of this now, we're like, oh, trying to open it up. This one is hard, yeah. So you've got to bring your hips forward to get that front knee down. And then if it's so hard, take your arms up. Everyone take your arms up anyway, any variation you want. But notice how it immediately takes the pressure out of the pelvis. Hips forward, chest up. So so you're unfolding this fold. You're bringing it forward. Your pubic bone is forward. Pubic bone, navel, sternum, chin. Open it up. Oh, so good. Don't land heavy. Come back. Left leg is the front leg. Did you feel your back, your side seat, and your belly when you brought that leg around? And then come up here. Press your feet down. Kick your butt forward. Good, and then again, remember when we did that tightrope lunge and I said you'll have one side that your hips are more off kilter. So this is the same thing. If it's this side, if the left leg in front throws you off more, think about that right hip coming around. Right butt wraps to the right. That's it, Katie. Now bring your hips forward and that front knee will come down. You can also put a block in front of you if you feel very wobbly, because until you're engaged all the way around, it is kind of precarious. So kick your butt forward. So pretty, Tiger. More, 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 more. Press both feet down. Press both feet down. Yes. And then come around. Unwind. Should feel so nice to have that stability of 4. Come up and back to a dog pose, because a dog is a frame. It gives you a frame of reference. It is the strength and structure and stability. Open the armpits in 2 directions. Find the 4 corners of your hands. Find the 4 corners of your feet. And then take all that contact and come forward to plank pose like you're being shot out of a cannon. And don't sink your thighs after all that work. Oh my God, Tiger, that was gorgeous. Up and back to a dog pose. And now keeping your right leg on its own side, bring your right foot forward and come to a lunge. You guys are so proficient at this. Okay, so my chest is on my thigh. My hips are in the middle. Coccyx is pointing back. Pubic bone is pointing forward. I'm going to lower my back knee right where it is. I'm going to point the foot now, and I'm going to check that I'm really plugged into my foot and I didn't transfer the weight into my knee. And then I'm going to come up. Ah, so good. Take your head in your hands. Then the elbows become the place of lifting. So you should see your elbows in your peripheral vision. If they're way out to the side, you can't, and it's going to work your neck. Your neck is going to have to work. So let your elbows lift up. And really think from the center of the sternum to each elbow is another triangle. You can lift your right heel up off the floor, which again will allow the front of the left quad and hip to open. Good. Go up with that right elbow. And then widen the left a little bit. Just the left. Good. And then come back down. So nice. From the stability of those hips, take your right hand in the middle. Bend the right elbow into the shin and let the knee come into the arm. So if I'm stuck here, my shoulders are on a diagonal. I gotta encourage, I gotta use my bottom floor to bring my right arm underneath. So my right shoulder goes from like 1 or 2 o'clock to 12 o'clock, but my hips stay at 3 and 9. Left arm up when the right arm is in the right place, and feel like I'm pulling your wrist, pulling that top wrist up to open up the whole left side of the chest, to lift the sternum up off the bottom one, to open up the right collarbone. Right butt goes out to its own side, and then it's like, oh my God, the left lung just fills. Just fills and fills and fills and fills and fills. Oh, Michaela, that is so pretty. Yes, come back around. Take your right hand on the outside, find the middle again. You should feel nice and open on the left side. Tuck the back toes underneath. Can you tuck your back toes? You plug your back foot in and lift the thigh. Can you find that? It's like you've plugged yourself in, right? And come back down. We are all solar powered, right? We all get our energy in some form or the other from the sun. And we all have enough energy. Bring your left foot forward. You all have enough energy to get you through the day. Hopefully you're sleeping well enough. Good. Lower there. We'll edit that out, that big kerplunk. Lower your right knee down. Point the foot, plug the foot in, lift the knee up off the floor. Yeah, and if one side, if it's like hard for you to do that, it's just showing you that you're not in the middle. You're overusing the front of your leg, your quads, more than the back of your legs. And then keep your hips forward, open up. So you've got to fight for this. This is really, if you talk about yoga being therapeutic, to balance out our lifestyle of this technology and sedentary lifestyle, you gotta fight to lengthen the front. You gotta fight to bring your natural curves back in alignment. So the muscles are working in the right orientation to keep the bones in the middle. I mean, really, the muscle shouldn't work to keep the bones in the middle, they should just be stacked. When the frame is right, take a different frame. So that's why our job in yoga is to keep reframing what devolves. Ah, so good. Take your head in your hands. So all of these variations, they just bring you more and more into the sphere. And if going into one puts a fold in your back or feels like a collapse in your back, you're not using something, or you're overusing something. Go back to a different variation. Find the lift, find the sphere. So you imagine you're just laying yourself back over a big ball, and then come back down. Because the sphere in geometry is the perfect shape. Take your left hand on the inside. So notice like nothing moved below. The upper body is what's free to find the world, to give, to receive. The lower body holds you steady. Tenacity to be on the planet. Take your right hand to your sacrum. Find your right pinky toe will mean that your right hip is on its own side. You've got to use the inner muscles of the left leg to bring that knee into the arm. Especially if your left knee's like, whatever, I can just hold out here because the arm does everything. The goal of yoga is to bring you to illuminate and union. It means union. So it's really a chance for you to come back to yourself, to integrate what is lost or disintegrated, and to make you more powerful by giving you back all of yourself. Oh. Big breath into the right lung. Big breath into the right lung. Pull your left buttock bone back. Take your right hand down. Take your left hand on the outside. You should have a big smile. You're getting that inner radiance, little sweat, little work, more breath. Come forward to plank pose. Plank pose not woven. Can you feel that plugging in, that buoyancy? And go back to a dog pose. All right, bring your knees down. We're gonna go into hangs and chairs. So get a blanket, it'll help you, and we'll do different variations on that. Okay, so know that the, here, I'll just get a blanket. The whole goal, the goal of these hangs is to descend your roots and to work on the first floor. So when we talk about the body, we use the metaphor of the body as a house. Your body can be divided up into a house where there's 3 floors and 9 rooms. And so that whole first floor is analogous to the laundry room, the boiler room, and the garage. Okay, but it's really everything that's below the diaphragm. So it's all of those inner workings. It's really your digestion, your elimination, reproduction. So we put a little lift under the heel because everyone has the tendency to hang back, right? We hang back when we sit, which is why we have all these lower back issues. So putting on a little heel just elevates the heels, and it should feel like it's like a little reminder, right? It's like a mother who has her hand on the child that lags back. It's like, come on, honey, we're going this way. Like, this is where your future is. So you should feel like you have the 4 corners of each foot. The arch is the present, it's the moment, it's the rise. That's what's lifting up. So you take your hands on the floor, bend your knees. The knees go forward over the second toe. Some of us have knees that go out, some of us have knees that go in. Your job is to know who you are and develop more of yourself. So spread across the balls of the feet, lift your buttocks up. With your hands on the floor, if you're back in your heels, you're gonna be in the heels of your hands. And so it's a really nice way because a lot of us aren't even aware of what goes on under the table, so to speak, or down there. But we always know and see where our hands are, right in front of us. So if you're in the heel of your hand, get off your butt, get off your own heels and shift forward. And then eventually the real game is to like not use your arms at all. You can wiggle waggle. So as you move from side to side, your elbows are being pulled down from the cantilever of your buttock bones being pulled up. And if you're feeling this in your sacrum above or across, it's like your pelvis is going the other way. So really feel like you can take your hands to your buttock bones. Or you can take your hands to your heels and lift your heels up more. And put another blanket underneath.
So your hands fit your heels, your knees fit your armpits, and then you just open up the back of the knee in 2 directions. Keep shifting forward. And again, always, this can be very demanding. You might not be used to staying here for so long. You can come out, right? Just come down into a squat for a moment, because these hangs are to build your stamina. They're to make you stronger in your lower body, which is really what you need right now to last through the winter. It's actually a good time to plant trees right now, fruit trees, right? Because all of the essence of the tree goes down to the roots, so it can really be underground. And then it can flower and fruit in the spring. So descend your roots right now, because we're about to go underground, unless you're in the southern hemisphere. So hang over, let your head go. Go up the backs of your legs. Go up the backs of your legs. You can even hold your hands behind you. You can weave your hands in, hold your elbows. So good. And really all we're doing, connecting the chest to the thigh, connecting the lowest part of the belly to the thigh, is learning how to fold from the hips. Take your hands out now like you're going to be this little baby dog. Like Olive, who's lying on my sweater. She's a 3-pound chihuahua. She's a little dog. So shift forward. So you can see that this still has the architecture of a dog pose here. This is where I'm folding. This is where we're gonna work. So as you can even take your hands to your hips here, it's like you're gonna lengthen the front, lengthen the front, lengthen the front, lengthen the front, lengthen the front. Pause where your shoulders are in line with your hips. Shift forward to the balls of your feet. You should have the arc of your lower back. And then come up in a chair pose. That's it, Kate. Keep sticking your butt way, way out. The more you do that, the more the lungs move forward. And then I'm gonna go out of frame, but I'm just gonna stand up and you're in a back bend. And then fold at your hips. Fold your hips. You can see it's like you're doing a big swan dive. Your butt goes up and back, you're lengthening. You see my armpits are open. My elbows are higher, higher, not lower. And then fold back down. And then just bring your hips down, come to a squat. You can even put a block there. So, like they say, cop a squat. So hopefully you're sweating, you're warm, you feel that. It takes a tremendous amount of effort. And we haven't done these chairs in a long time, and I know that they're one of Laura's favorites. So we're gonna do them. They're so hard. So I'm gonna show you the don't, okay? And if you can, if you're at home, you can even look at yourself doing it a little bit. But what's so hard? So I wanna start here with your hands to your hips, because we don't want to load. Taking the arms overhead takes more work for your spine, especially for the lower back if you're not in the right place. So really I want to think this is longer than this. So our back is our past, our reflection, the front is our potential, our future. Always want to lead with your potential, lead with your potential, lead with your potential. This is the fold. This is the lengthening, right? And so I'm going to come back down by folding from here. And what we do, because it's easier, it's a path of least resistance, is I fold, and you can see that my back body is overtaking my front. Well, it's not that it's bad, it just creates a lot of work for the back that I don't want to load it here. So this is the first one. You can even take your hands and like find that first fold. I'm gonna unfold it and fold it again from there. So you can work it this way. Keep shifting the weight forward, because if you're in your heels, you're never gonna be able to lengthen your front more. So maybe you just work this way. Couple of inches, right? You can even put your butt in the wall and do it. Very helpful. The next way is to take elbows. And it's like, you should be able to see what's out there. You can look at the angle of my armpits, right? If that's an angle, here to here and then down, I'm in my back. I feel that in my lower back right away. That's where you gotta fight. And then it's just coming up and folding back down. Oh, it's so hard to do. So know that it's taken a lot of work to make that look easy. Hopefully it looked easy. But they're so hard and they're so demanding, okay? And so you can come back down and sit on your block. You can just come back down to a hang. Yeah. All right, walk it back to a dog pose. So good, Katie. I hope you're sweating. Walk it back to a dog pose. And it should be really nice to open that up. And hopefully you feel from doing the hangs and making them very close together, you really feel that sense of that first fold, that origami, right? Where you're making your corners meet, so every shape you make holds up. When you fit yourself, you function well. Come forward to plank pose. Unfold it even more. So good. Go up and back to a dog pose. Come forward one more time to plank. Maybe you come all the way through to up dog. So my blanket is just there. I'm not resting my thighs on it. I'm reaching my inner heels back. I'm reaching my front of my armpits forward. It should feel so good. You should not feel this in your back at all. Plug your feet in, plug your hands in. Go up and back to a dog pose. Okay. Let your blanket come out. Bring your knees down. Actually, you might need your blanket. You might need more than one blanket. So let's come into Gomukhasana. Right knee forward. Left knee behind. Separate your feet. And then sit in the middle. Okay. The geometry is that you're going to be closer to your bottom foot. So you can pick your hips up and move them to the left. And the most important thing, so this is it's more demanding on the hip joints than even ankle to knee, even though some people, it's easier if your heels are close to your butt. So depending on how much accessibility you have, you'll be able to bring your heels more forward and out. You may be able to take your hands to your heels here. And the same thing we did with the heels in the blanket. I'm taking my hands to my heels and I'm lifting my heel up. And so what you're looking for is that my whole foot makes contact with the block. And what will happen is the inner heel will sink and you'll be heavy on the outer foot, which again translates to a collapse in the knee. So if you're working with anything in your inner knees or with the groin, it's all the same pattern of collapse. It's just like, where does it manifest in your body? So by finding the center of your ankle, you'll be feeling it in that hip even more. So you're welcome. Go forward and back and forward and back. Like you are again, just putting the key in the ignition, going all the way down to that first floor, revving your engine, firing it up. Good. Both heels fit your hands. Both arms are straight. Both collarbones are being pulled out to the wrong side. And then spin it around yourself here. So go all the way around and make a circle. Yeah, tiger sugar hands to your knees is another ball and mid fit. It actually is a way to hold middle as you go around yourself. And so if it's very hard for you on the hips, going in a circle is going to give you an easy part and then a hard part. So it's a way to not just be like stuck in this, like, I can't do this. Circle the other way. Good, everyone looks really good knee over knee. Nelson, if your knees are up here, or if you have space, by lifting the hips more, we'll bring that top knee down, okay? Good, so change the angle of the pelvis. And then, 2 blocks are helpful on either side of your mat because it's going to give you that slide, so it reduces the friction. Remember when we were in the chair and we fought to open the front and lengthen and come down. So this is the easiest way to do it, is to just say, okay, in the middle of myself, my knees are forward, my buttock bones are on their own side. I'm just going to keep fighting for the back bend, and I'm going to go out. And then come back up. So you can just slide your blocks, like, oh, well, now I can actually go more. But I'm stickling in this heel. I'm going to reach through there. Wow, I feel that in my outer right hip. Make sure I'm doing the same thing on my left. Maybe I can go a little bit further, and then I'm going to come back up again. I'll be feeling this in the juicy outside, underside part. So you're really opening your hip joints here in one direction. So we're closing it. We're finding that first fold. That's why we did all that work. So we can open it up back here. Work your heels. Eventually, your chest comes to your thighs. This, again, if you think about a little seed, this is like a pose of winter. And then if you're here, well, you can take your elbows down.
You can let your head go, and your throat will fit right over that top knee. Make sure you're not sinking into one butt, so really displace or disperse your weight. Reach through both inner heels and big toe mounds, and you'll be feeling all sorts of things going all the way up the hips, the legs, into the lower back. This is really just gives you the broadness of that sacrum, which you can think of the sacrum as like your circuit breaker, right? The circuit panel in the basement, right? When you blow a circuit, you go down, you flip the switch. This gives you your circuit breaker. This is the pump for the cerebral spinal fluid. So all the way from the bottom to the top, if you've ever had any craniosacral work, it's like you're doing that yourself here. Now come up in a back bend, so chin and nose forward. Look out. Don't worry about your hands, but just don't use them like length in the front, length in the front, length in the front. Come all the way up to the shoulders or back over the hips, and it's like, you should see more. You should take a breath in. So nice. Let's do a precursor of a twist here. So think that your top leg, like your hips are spinning to the left. So a real twist would be for you to spin to the right. You can take your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind you, smile with that right armpit, and feel like, okay, my shoulders are going around like a weather vane, but my hips are holding ground. So your shoulders come north and south, but your hips stay east and west. Smile with that right armpit, it's gonna help you. And then the head receives the twist. So nice. And so that's a nice one upright. You're in the orientation that you normally are, so it's not disorienting. The next thing would be to do the twist in that forward fold. So you're gonna think that your left armpit fits your right knee. My nose is looking down. I'm on my spit from head to tail. And now, left hand to the floor, and if your feet are farther forward, your left hand will be able to hold your left foot, which is on your right side, and then your hand comes to your sacrum, spin around, spin around, spin around. Keep moving your right hip to the right. Do not let this pour the weight and dump into your left side. Oh, this is so hard. Bring your right arm over here, look at your right hand, look at your right hand, look at your right hand and back bend. And then the right hand comes down, look at that elbow, they line up. The same way we did all that work with the knees. And then maybe your right hand takes a hold of your right foot. And we're just gonna twist this way. Press the foot into the hand, or if the hand's on the floor, just keep pressing through that inner foot. Reach your left arm up, over. Look at the hand the whole time. Look at the hand the whole time. And come around. All right, and come on up. So nice. So really, you wanna look at the hand the whole time because it really becomes this whole trunk rotation. And then eventually, you can hold your hands in reverse namaste or in tennis racket grip, and you can just go all the way around. So it's like this circumduction that we did. And again, you can just do a little circumduction. So hold steady from below. But eventually, and then there's a part of the circle where it's like, oh my God, that is so hard. Until that piece of you opens up. And then your circle gets bigger. So if you remember spirograph, they had the different size circles. I loved spirograph. And you do different colored pens, little shout out from Meredith. And you could make these beautiful designs by going all the way around yourself. And it really parlays back to the sacred geometry piece of this practice, right? You would be drawing in a circle, use a different one and draw, and you would make these beautiful, like seeds of life or flower of life photos. And really that's what your amazing body is designed to do. Okay, right leg out. Oh, tiger. Left leg out. Unfolded it with your hands. Okay, so here you are, toes up, knees up, hips are neutral. Come forward into like a little Paschimottanasana, but again, you're plugged in, you're not hanging in your back. Find the right angle at your feet, at your ankles. You can even put a block there to know where you're not going. Don't let your knees go out to the side, right? Hold them in. And then just walk your butt back and your heels forward and just take a moment here. You can even put a block under your forehead so you're not using your neck muscles to hold yourself up. Just take a moment and map out your body. So think about your right hand, hopefully holding your right heel, your left heel throwing into your left hand, the knees are in the armpits, You're going up the front of your spine. You're sticking your left butt out, your right butt out, and you're taking up your whole space. Good. Nose forward, chin forward. So we do a symmetrical pose in between, in case you were sinking and dumping into one side, where you take your mind, the prana is able to go. So now we'll do the other leg forward, which is the left one. Okay, so right leg in, left leg in. And if you can't just fold it, come up on your hands and knees, because you'll really be able to get the right knee in the back of the left. Separate your feet as much as you can, really working into these side glute muscles. And then when you come down, you're gonna wanna go to the left. So keep aiming your tailbone straight back behind you, and then when you come to sit, if you need to, you can pick your hips up and move them to the right. Take your heels in the same line. Again, once you get more facility in the hips, you'll be able to bring your feet further forward. Okay. Hands to the blocks. Go forward and back and forward and back. Work your feet, Michaela, especially that left one, right? Because the left ankle, it's the same as the left wrist, which is the same as the left side of your neck. And so if you have pain in your neck, it might have started in your ankle. So work your foot. It'll help your wrist. It'll help your neck, working your ankles. So you can take your hands to your ankles, you take your hands to your knees, but keep a piece of your brain there so you don't collapse it, and then start to spin it around. Spin it around. This is the beginning of that like circumduction, and go both ways. And how easily can you pivot and change directions? And if you were thinking about a spirograph, are you making a circle? Are you making an egg shape? Are you making like some trapezoid thing because you just don't go back there on the right? Got it. And then come forward. So come forward. Again, eventually you're doing this, you're gonna put a block out here. Just like we came up and down in the chair, so Katie's are not like this, you gotta get this open first. So imagine I'm behind you and I put my fist right there between your shoulder blades, and you at home can imagine this too. And then I take my hand on your forearms and I pull back with your forearms as I push my hand in between your shoulder blades. And it's like I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, till like, oh my God, it's like you've broken the shell of your back to really get that. And then eventually it's like, oh, well, that's open. I can actually go up and down. You can play where the block is, and really play the middle. Oh, you gotta go back to go forward, you gotta go down to go up, and eventually you are dynamic and every piece of you is working and resting, right? Because that's really a muscle that, a joint that is balanced has muscles that turn on and off, that engage and release when they're not needed. Let your head go, you're down. What does that feel like when you release your neck? You should feel that down in the sacrum, down in your lower back. Pull your left butt out, reach through the inner heel. Do the same thing on the right. And then look forward and just walk yourself over to the left. So you're making a big semicircle. Make yourself bigger, bigger, bigger. Really let that right hand crawl forward and out. So think that your hips are going to the right. Reach through that left inner heel as your hands come around. And always fight for the back bend. So even if you need to bring your hands back a little bit, so you get more air, you have more room to open the front before you come down. So you don't want to feel like you're defeated here in this pose. Okay. Take your right hand to your right foot, which is on your left side, and then bring your head back to the middle so your right armpit fits your left knee. Left hand on your sacrum is like, okay, here I am, really rooted down below. Keep reaching through both inner feet. And then lengthen out through the crown of your head. Lengthen out through the crown of your head and start to spin it. Press your right foot into your right hand. So that's gonna keep you going that way as your chest and head goes the other way. Left arm up. Look at your thumb. Look at your thumb with your hand so your head follows the twist. Your head follows that. Oh, it's so nice. Let the arm come down, the elbow comes in front, and then you switch. Take your bottom arm out. Maybe your left hand finds your left foot. You're plugged in, you're not using your back. You're actually opening up a whole piece of you. You're getting access to the kidneys. You're opening and flushing your kidneys, which is the organs of winter, right? Come back down.
Come back up. Ah. And hopefully you come up with like this renewed vision, perspective, and availability. Okay, left leg out, right leg out. Sit on the front edge of your buttock bones. Good. So your feet, take them like match distance apart because we did this pose. Now we're gonna do this one, okay? And so little Upavishtakonasana, but don't take your feet very wide because you wanna maintain the integrity of the groin. So come forward, take a hold of the hands to the feet. Still find your knees to your armpits. If you need to bend your knees more, go ahead and bend your knees more. And then the heels, because they're on the wood floor, will just slide forward to take you forward. And then you can walk your buttock bones back. And if you think about the architecture of this, well, it's very similar to the hang that we did, just our feet are wider. And it's also similar to a plow. And really, it's like a tortoise pose. So, if you want, you can bend your legs more. You take your right arm underneath your right leg. You can take your left arm underneath your left leg. And then the knees into the armpits. Hands go back. Maybe they even hold your, clasp each other, the sacrum. And then your heels come forward. And then you're really in. And if that's like totally crazy, then just stay. Laura, don't let your knees go, it's gonna make it harder. Then just stay in this little Upavishtakonasana with your hands holding your heels and your knees and your armpits. And then you can also point your feet. You point your feet and it's like doing that little foot vinyasa. It opens up the tops of your feet, which also helps to break the shell of your back. Oh. Move your butt back. Come to the front edge of your sitting bone. So you're not feeling like your back is being sheared or split or disintegration at the top of the sacrum. So stick your butt out and let your whole spine feed forward into your brain. And then look forward, come up, come up, come up. Oh, what a nice hubby. Okay, fold your left leg in. Oh, let's do this. Take your left leg, take your heel in line with your knee. We haven't done this in so long. Rock the leg side to side, point the foot, bring the left heel right up into the left side of the belly button, the psoas channel. And then relax your mouth. Do the same thing on the right. So you can just fold the right leg, bring that knee down, and then sneak your right leg up and come into Lotus. So the soles of the feet are facing up. They look like little bunny ears. Okay. And if you have that, it's actually, you can just do half Lotus too, or Sukhasana. It's actually easier. We did a lot of hip work, so hopefully it's a little more accessible. You can hold your feet. You can open up the soles of your feet. Again, you can do a little access, and again, I've got to actually redo it. Don't want to sickle the ankle. Keep thinking that you're going to reach through that inner ankle. And if you feel a pressure in the knee, back off. Go to the hip. Go to the heel. All right. And then eventually, look, because of this is like, you've made an infinity sign. You're actually so contained, like you could lift up. Right? And just put your hands down. You can lift up off yourself, which is why Padmasana, lotus pose, is one of the best poses to sit in for meditation once you, so pretty, Hanya, once you have it. And if you don't have it, it's not fun to sit in it. I'm going to move back a little bit. And then table. Come into your table. Can you show from the side? And then walk it down. Oh, I just lost my microphone. Okay, so this is a lovely way to sit or lie. This is so good for your lower back. And again, this opens up the front that front fold that we're talking about, right? And so eventually you can like, walk your ribs forward. So many things you can do with this. Pretty have so nice. And then move beside you. Take your right hand to your ear. Literally the cup of your hand on your ear. And you roll up. Oh, when my hip comes down, and I don't throw this top leg away, this really opens up the sides of the waist. So the ear, right, and the ear is the kidney. Center of the palm, you just fit yourself, and it's like pratyahara. Sense withdrawal, because you can't, it's like going underwater. All right, come back to your belly, and we'll go the other way. So, left ear to left hand. Use the right hand. Oh, you're gonna have one side that's hard. This is my hard side. Keep your knees, like your hips lined up, don't let the top hip drop. Oh, then you're really getting into the middle of your hip joint. Can you relax into it? Let your head go in your hand. So nice. And then come back down. And then back bend. Come back up. And then find your block. And then come on out. All right. So good. Virasana. Or you can stay in Lotus. It's actually a really nice thing. But, all right. So that might be aspirational, a little aspirational. But it is, it's nice to see what the body is possible, right? When you watch the Olympics or you watch these elite athletes, you're just like the amazingness. And I've been teaching yoga for over 20 years, and I didn't practice Lotus for 15 of them because I believed that I had a bad knee. I believed that I had like a torn labrum and it wasn't available to me, but really it wasn't the knee at all. It was the hip. It was like, I believe this story, right? And there's so many times in our life where we're limited by someone else's ideas of us. And the nice thing about the practice is it's just like going in there and cleaning up your house. It's like, I can do Lotus, and it actually has helped my knee. So that's the theme for the day, I guess. Press your thighs down, wiggle your waist long. And does it matter that I can do Lotus and flip it? No, but it matters how I feel afterwards. It matters that the story I'm telling myself is true, and I get to write the story that I want to believe. Take your arms up. You are the author of your life. Press your feet down. Wiggle the waist long. Inhale. Exhale anything that you don't want to take with you. There was something I said, something you did today in class, or something else that someone else told you. Let it go on an exhale so you can fill yourself up with your own truth. Nelson, spin that right armpit more. Yes, that is so pretty. Fight for the front, lengthen the front, move in with your potential. Meredith, let those shoulder blades, don't move them down the back, just let the energy fall down the back so the front has room to rise to the top. Yes, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, all the breath out, all the breath out, all the breath out. Interlace your thumbs. Through the nose this time, guys. Press your feet down, reach your arms, 3 sips through the nose. Chin up just a hair, Laura. 3 more sips. Armpits forward. 1 more sniff through the nose. Now in your mind, go down, seal up the bottom, so no leaking containers. Seal it up, seal it up, seal it up, so you have it all for yourself. Pop the cork, let the genie out of the bottle. Palms up, so you receive the grace from that effortful class. Take a moment for yourself. So good. So good. Thanks everyone, happy Thursday. Tiger will be teaching on Saturday and I'll be here